What is the heart of Rocky? I would clearly say the heart to me, especially in the original movie, is Adrian. Without Adrian, the movie doesn't work. Because Rocky is not a boxing movie. Rocky is a love story.
Mike Kunda. Mike is a Rocky impersonator.
And for 38-year-old Michael Kunda, it was just the start of a dream come true for him.
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
When I was 11, my father heard of another schoolyard fight I got into that didn't go well. And he said, Mike, Sunday nights, now 1979, there's a movie on TV. It's called Rocky. It's about this guy who's a fighter and he gets a chance to fight the big time. He goes, maybe you could pick up some punches to throw on the schoolyard to protect yourself. So your parents are your parents. You listen to them all the time and you think they know everything. So when Rocky comes on, I was audio recording because I didn't have a VCR. We audio recorded the movie. And when those big white letters, R-O-C, bum, 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 bum. Oh my God. Something happened inside. Something took over. I could feel dormant DNA come to life because this music. The music of Rocky, we hear music all the time, but I was feeling the music of Rocky. And I started to watch him, and he was a loner like I was a loner. And I said, okay, I could identify with this person. Now, he wore a goofy hat and a leather jacket, but that didn't matter to me because I saw something in this guy. He was alone, and I had felt very alone. That night, I went to bed after watching Rocky, and my gray sweatshirt, and I wrote on the back of it, Italian Stallion. And I wore it to school the next day because Rocky had Italian Stallion on his sweatshirt. And so I thought, okay, this is a epidemic with me. I'm always wearing costumes. As a kid, I was the Lone Ranger and Zorro. As I got older, it was Superboy. And now we're moving into Rocky Land. Anyways, I go to school the next day and I wear the sweatshirt. And back in the 70s, the teachers back then, they could humiliate you, they could slap you, they could grab you by the back of the neck and walk you to the front of the class. And so they did that to me, and they made me stand there. And they made me turn around, and he said to the class, can you tell me what's wrong with Mike's sweatshirt? And no one knew. And he tells the class, this is the incorrect way to spell Italian Stallion. So not only am I dressing like these heroes all year long, I'm also stupid because I can't spell correctly. So school was not my favorite place to be. I much liked being my own person in the neighborhood.
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
If we look right down here, you're going to see at the end of the block on the right-hand side is the very last apartment. That's Rocky's house. To your right, on the corner where the fire hydrant is, you will see this is where the guys are singing, take you back, do 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 do, take you back,
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back.
and that was Sylvester's brother, Frank. Now Frank, that was his musical group, Valentine, and they couldn't afford a real musician, as they like to quote, so Frank was a struggling musician, and Sly asked him, would you sing a few bars on the corner? Because that's what they did in Philadelphia. Rocky takes a swig of the booze, spits it out, and he says, You see Colonel Bumsy getting better every year. You knew that? And so he goes all the way down the street, goes to his apartment, and we see the filth and ugliness that is Rocky's apartment. And that's where he lives, right down there.
It's a rock where you almost guaranteed to end up a bum.
Right here, this right in the corner. This is the house that Rocky built. 1818.
Look at his face. Is that a face you can trust or what? Huh?
Now, one of those two windows would have been the window Rocky would have opened and said, "Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya."
Yo, Paulie, your sister's with me. I'll call you back later. See ya.
But they never filmed inside because they didn't have enough money. So they only filmed the exteriors. Right about here is where Rocky and Adrian are talking after they've come back from the ice skating rink. Now, the ice skating rink was in Santa Monica, but they just pretend that it was in Philadelphia. And right about here, Rocky says to Adrian,
You know, some people think that being shy is a disease, you know, but it don't bother me none, you know.
Don't bother me either.
you know, this is Rocky's way of flirting with Adrian. A little bit later, in Rocky 2, Rocky gets married to Adrian, and we see Rocky coming up this, carrying her in his arms. And it's quite a lovely scene.
No, if I did, I would have carried you everywhere.
Take it back. Do 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
In Rocky 1, Gazzo has the car parked on the other side of the green right here. This brick road is that brick road right there. But they're doing a lot of construction here. Rocky is on the bridge up there in Rocky 1. Rocky gets in. He's bouncing the ball on the left-hand sidewalk. He's waiting for that big brown Cadillac that is driven by Buddy, Gazzo's assistant. And he gets in the car, and they drive right down here, and we see this wrought iron fence that's in front of us. It went the whole way down. Now, unfortunately, this street is closed. But way down there on the other side of the stop sign, that is exactly where Buddy parks the car, and where Gazzo says,
All right, pull it over here. I want to let Rocky out, and then I'm going to talk to him for a few seconds.
Gazzo and Rocky exit the car, and they cross the street to the corner. And that's where Rocky, we see that big bridge in the background. We see that over Rocky and Gazzo's head. What a lot of people don't know is that originally in the original script of Rocky, Stallone wrote it where Rocky and Gazzo were brothers. And that was something I thought was very interesting. So there was like a way Rocky related to Gazzo in the film that suggested a family relationship. And the producer and the directors, I don't think they wanted that. So they told Stallone, no, let's not. Rocky's going to be totally alone. And he changed Gazzo's name. And of course, they were no longer brothers. But I thought that would have been an interesting segue to have Gazzo as Rocky's brother, but wasn't to be.
Take it back. Do 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 do. Take it back.
This is where Rocky starts running with the kids. Right here, Rocky cuts around the corner, and the two buildings that are still there are children playing on the sidewalk. And Rocky sees them and he goes, "Oh, come on, come on." Of course, Rocky has the red headband, and they start running right across the bridge here. In Rocky 1, this corner where this green grass is and the little wooden fence, that is the home of the Lucky Seven from the original Rocky. This is when Rocky walks over the curb and there's a bum laying on the street. Rocky picks the bum up, puts him over his shoulder, and walks in the door of the bar.
Take it back. Do 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
Stallone was fascinated with Philadelphia. You know, he would walk right underneath on these sidewalks, again, many years ago, and they stuck with him. For whatever reason, it just stuck with him. You know that black leather jacket that Rocky wore? Yeah. That was Sylvester Stallone's black leather jacket years before Rocky. Because he didn't have any money, the studio didn't want him. The studio said, listen, we don't have enough money to give you, so you have to use your own clothes. All the actors could style themselves based on what they felt their character would look like or act like. And they all had money, but Stallone didn't. So he had to go into his closet and he had to use whatever was there, whatever was in his closet. He became Rocky's wardrobe. And that's just the way it was. The movie gets nominated for 10 Oscars and it wins 3.
And the winner is Rocky Irwin.
To me, that's absolutely phenomenal. On a shoestring budget to do that. Stallone's never done it since. Something was right with Rocky. It was like a Rubik's Cube of a whole bunch of things that came together perfectly.
Sylvester Stallone, I'd like to thank you for sharing your dream of Rocky with us and for giving a performance that has enriched all our lives.
Take it back. Do 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so here we are in front of Mighty Mick's gym in Kensington. And you can notice that's the wood. Yo, how you doing? Right there, that wood, that's where Mickey's poster was. They find this building, it was abandoned at the time, so they put the wood up so they could put Mighty Mick's poster right there. So you're actually looking at, I guess you could call it a prop from 1975, the original Rocky. It's never come down. Storms, no matter what, it's always been there. One of the things I find interesting is right here. This missing brick right here, that's been missing for day one of the first Rocky when they were here in December filming in 1975. I don't know why I notice these things more, maybe because I've seen the movie so many times. I think I've seen the original Rocky 650 times maybe over the years. And you can see, even in Creed, we see this missing brick. Now this roll gate was added years later, which was kind of interesting. But this is probably my favorite filming location of all of them. Now, as I was saying earlier, right there where the green grass is growing, that was Adrian's pet shop.
How you feeling this morning? I'm full of life.
Fine.
That is the original fire hydrant that was left from filming. Now you can imagine, in Rocky 1, Rocky has just fought Spider Rico, okay? And Rocky is walking right down the street, he's bouncing the ball, and he's whistling the Rocky theme quietly. And he sees the puppies in the window, and of course, he taps on the, just look at how you doing, guy? He just taps on the window of the pet shop. I run a Rocky tour. Could you imagine if I was born to look like Schwarzenegger? Wouldn't work. Hey, you all have a nice day today, okay? Thank you so much. Bye-bye. So you can see people love this character, Rocky, so much because its influence, I think, in culture has been so positive. And I think everyone identifies with Rocky just because if you try, you're no worse off if you fail. But maybe you will succeed. And I think that's what resonates with the character.
Take it back. Do 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 do.
Now, you know, Stallone tells a really great story about how he found the Rocky hat. This is an exact duplicate, almost exact duplicate of Rocky's hat from the first movie. And it's made by Baron Hollywood Hat Maker. So one of the very few locations they filmed the interiors in was Adrian's pet shop. Stallone, as they were setting up the camera, is leaning against Mighty Mick's gym. He's got the leather coat on, he's got a cigarette, he's got the fingerless gloves and the bruise on the eye. But what he doesn't have is a hat, and he only has $5 in his pocket. So he says to himself, I gotta get the character a hat. I love that black hat, I gotta get a hat. Where is he gonna find one? Well, as the hand of fate so often does, it showed itself. 5 or 6 doors down from the pet shop was a thrift store. And for those of you who don't know what a thrift store is, it's just old clothes that you could donate and then they would sell for $2 or $3, whatever. So on a chance, Stallone walks in, and there in the back is this old hat that's just in the corner. He flops it open, he puts the hat on, and it now becomes the Rocky hat. So that was the last of his money that he had. Now he's officially broke. He hasn't gotten any payment yet from the movie, but he's got his hat. That is not Rocky's hat. That is Rocky's hat. And this is where Sly and I had a really nice conversation. Here we are outside on the set of Creed 2. We're talking, and he really is just a hell of a nice man. And I asked him why he endorsed me, because I didn't ask him for that. And so I'm going to paraphrase what he said. He says, you know, Mike, I'm not going to be around forever, and when I go, I like knowing you're here, taking people around to the Rocky sites, sharing the information. And I thought that was so kind of him to do that. Here's a man who gets paid millions of dollars to do advertising for any certain product. And here he took it upon himself. He found a picture of me and him standing in front of the Rocky statue. I was dressed as Rocky, and he's punching me in the face. And he puts it on his Instagram, and he put a nice paragraph about me and a direct link to the tours. And he did it all for free, all because he likes what I'm doing. And when people ask me what kind of a guy is Sylvester Stallone, that's the type of guy Sylvester Stallone is. He is a good guy with a big heart.
Take you back.
My mother took me to a boxing gym, which I can only refer to as vintage. The oldest equipment in the world was in this gym. Anyways, they teach you how to hit the bags, how to punch, and you know, it's funny. When you're done with that, they kind of put you in the ring, and they put you in there with somebody who's a little bit better than you, but about your size. So they give you the headgear and the gloves, and they ring the bell, and I just got hit 40,000 times in the first minute. It's just one punch after another. I didn't know what to do. So I started crying, and I quit right in the ring. So I come home, and my mother, very nurturing, she explains to my father what happened. And my dad, he was incredibly understanding. But he went out and bought a used VCR and records Rocky the next time it's on TV. So now every day after school, I would come home, do my homework, I would watch Rocky, and then I would go down to the basement where my uncle gave me an old heavy bag. So whatever I learned in the gym that day, whatever I learned from watching Rocky repeatedly over and over, I would emulate Rocky, and I would learn how to throw punches to the punching bag. I got better and better and better. In the meantime, I would wear the hat and the coat, and I would go walking around my neighborhood at night, dressed like Rocky. Only I had a Walkman. I put the headset on underneath my hat so I could hear the movie. And I learned all the lines. And I would pick up Stallone's vocal structure. And little by little, I could imitate him. And this is where I continued falling in love with this simple character, Rocky Balboa. But nobody else was doing anything like this. I was very odd and unique.
You see? Yo, Adrian, we did it.
Now it's 1985, and I'm 17 years old, and I'm a senior in high school. Well, I'm wearing the hat and the coat like Rocky, and the guidance counselors would call the students who were graduating down into the office, and for 10 minutes a day, he'd ask all the students what they want to do. Do you want to go to college? You want to go to the service? You're going to get a job? What do you want to do? So I sat there, and as Rocky, I told him, I want to be Rocky. And he said, you want to be an actor like Stallone, right? And I said, no, I want to be Rocky. And he goes, oh, you want to be a professional boxer? I go, no, I want to wear the hat and the coat. I want to walk around the streets of Philadelphia, and I want to get paid to promote Rocky. And he goes, this is the dumbest idea in the world. You can't do this. It doesn't exist. I go, no, I understand there's no job, but that's what I want to do. What am I going to do? I don't know. And this is where everybody comes shopping for the best fruit and the best vegetables in all of Philadelphia. Yo! Adrian! This is one of my favorite places down here. Lots of people. Right here, Rocky and Rocky 2 comes around this way. Right around this corner, he comes down.
Take it back.
In the middle of the room is Stallone, and he's barking out orders. And he's saying things like, okay, I need 5 more people over here. Get me more bread on this table. I need more lights over here. Get more wine on here. So everyone's all running around, and they're kind of, following his leadership. He's the director of Rocky Balboa. And all of a sudden, everyone is done. And a voice from offset says, all quiet on set. And Stallone takes a deep breath and exhales. At this point, his eyes get a little droopier, his shoulders slump down, and his voice gets a little deeper. And standing next to me, leaning on the bar, is Burt Young, who plays Paulie Panino. Now, I never in a million years could have imagined being on a Rocky set, seeing Stallone as Rocky and Burt Young as Paulie. This was blowing my mind. And Stallone says, yo, Paulie, you ready? And Burt Young simply says, ready, Rocco. And the next thing I know, Rocky Balboa yells, action.
Yo, Paulie.
Hey, they're gonna be talking about that fake Looney Tune fight.
Hey, come on, we're about to serve today's special.
My goodness, this was amazing. Paulie and Rocky were reborn in front of me, and I was like, wow. I began to get emotional. I cried a little because this character has helped me through some of the most painful moments of my life, and here I am. I know Rocky isn't real. I know it's a character. I know Sylvester Stallone is just acting. But in that moment, none of that mattered to me. I was looking at Rocky Balboa. That image will never leave my mind.
Take it back.
Round 14 in the first Rocky movie. So we go through the fight, and we see Rocky has no chance of winning. But what did he tell Adrian the night before the fight? If he could be standing at the end of the fight, if he could just be standing, he knows he can't beat Apollo Creed. But nobody had gone the distance with Apollo. So Rocky says, if I can go the distance and seeing that bell rings and I'm still standing, I'm going to know for the first time in my life, you see, I weren't just another bum from the neighborhood. And that's all Rocky wanted. Just to not be another bum from the neighborhood. So it's the 14th round, and Rocky is getting his ass beat. Apollo is picking him off left and right, and Rocky goes down. And the music is playing, and Adrian has entered the back of the arena, and she sees him down on the mat. And Mickey is yelling to him, down, down, stay down. Down, down, stay down. He has come to love his fighter like a son and does not want to see him hurt. But Rocky has just a tiny little bit left. And what was his goal? To be standing at the end of the fight. So he pushes himself up and he waves Apollo in. And Apollo, that look that Carl Weathers gives, he shakes his head. The power in that moment was one of the most beautiful things I'd ever seen in any movie ever. And Rocky waves Apollo in and crushes Apollo's ribs. No matter how beaten Rocky is, his goal is to go the distance. And that was the big lesson I took from Rocky. No matter how much I'm losing, no matter how hard a particular day or job is, keep going. keep persevering. You may not be the best in the world, but you can be the best in your world. And that was always my goal. I don't know if I'm the best Rocky impersonator. I don't know if I give the best Rocky tour. I give the best I can give. And I hope that's enough for people. It's 3 floors. Second floor, you see where the air conditioner is? The window right next to it. That's where Father Carmine opens the window. Now, this green wall was not here, okay? There was a chain link fence that was closer. So Rocky drives the car in, comes all the way up here, and he gets out, and of course, Father Carmine, yo, Father Carmine, you hope, Father Carmine.
Hey, yo, Father Carmine! Father Carmine! Hey, Father Carmine, you home?
Father Carmine opens up the window. Rocky, donde macavase? Donde está?
Rocky?
Yeah.
Ma che cosa fai là? Non deve fare la lotta questa sera.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to the fight right now, but I was wondering if you could do me a favor. Che favore? I was wondering, if you wouldn't mind, you're throwing out a blessing in case I get beat up tonight. It won't be too bad. Could you do something like that? No, I'm the father, the son. Oh, thanks, Father. I gotta go. I'm so late.
Thanks a lot, Father. Listen, I appreciate it. I gotta go. I'm so late. I'll see you in church. Oh, take care.
That was probably one of my favorite scenes from Rocky II, because it's not about Rocky winning. If you remember, Rocky asks for a blessing to survive. See, that's the difference. Could you imagine Muhammad Ali or Floyd Mayweather or any of the fighters asking to survive? No, they'd ask for a blessing to win. But Rocky, that would be cheating to have God in his corner. So Rocky just wants, hey, you don't gotta have God help me win. Just don't let me die. And Rocky survives and, of course, wins the fight because he was the better fighter. But as we learn later in Creed, time beat Apollo Creed. Time is undefeated, takes everybody out. And that's how Rocky won, at least through his eyes. The music played a big part. I mean, that music with Bill Conti is absolutely significant in the success of Rocky. I mean, could you imagine if it was any other, like at the end of Rocky, the 14th round, they wanted to use Purple Haze, Jimi Hendrix, during that. And Stallone was like, no. It cannot be anything modern. It must be like classical music. Okay, right here, the white window right there, that is Rocky's house from Rocky II. It will say 2313. You will see the original lamp, number plate, and white mailbox. That is original from the movie. It has never changed.
Nice house. I'd say it's a nice house in general, wouldn't you? Huh?
That's all original. This is the same railing that Rocky hurdles over in Rocky II. He comes out here, he throws some punches in the middle of the road. It's all identical. It has not changed.
Yeah, oh, this is a very solid neighborhood.
Yeah?
I like it. It's very
I
nice.
like these bricks. They're very nicely done here. Look very solid.
Take it back. Do.
What is the heart of Rocky? I would clearly say the heart to me, especially in the original movie, is Adrian. Without Adrian, the movie doesn't work. Because Rocky is not a boxing movie. Rocky is a love story between two self-perceived losers. In other words, Rocky doesn't have a lot of faith in himself. And Adrian has always been put down by her brother. And she's very shy.
You need some help with that case? There's a good game down at the Spectrum tonight.
But when the two of them find each other, like Rocky says, I don't know, she's got gaps, I got gaps, together we fill gaps, I think they found something in each other that they needed. Because I believe Rocky, once he has the love of Adrian, he is able to now focus on fighting intently. because he wants to have a life with her. He wants to have some money. He wants to get out of Kensington. He wants to live in a much nicer place, like this neighborhood here. He buys cars for her in Rocky 2. He buys her perfume. They have a baby. So Adrian is the catalyst to me. She is the one who, behind every successful man, is a greater woman. And that's how I see that.
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back.
Things I love about Philly in general is that people have found a way through their differences, whether it's language, ethnicity, nationality, whatever it is, religion, they all find a way to work through and find common ground. So Philadelphia has such a blue-collar ethnicity to it. In other words, you're going to find rich people, you're going to find poor people, but it is the blue-collar working men and women that have built Philadelphia to what it is today. I think it is the fact that it is a melting pot of cultures, of diverse cultures, people can come together and learn, and they can share something as simple as food recipes. You can share life experiences. You can share your love of sports. My God, Philadelphia is one of the biggest towns on the planet when it comes to professional sports. That maybe the iPhone isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe the internet isn't the greatest thing. Maybe we just go back to talking to each other and telling old stories. You know, something simple. I think Philadelphia, to be honest, I think Philadelphia is a filmmaker's dream. To come here and to film all of the city's most beautiful locations. Everything from Old City, Independence Hall, Reading Terminal. I mean, some of the side streets have some of the most unique culture and architectural design that I've seen in any city up and down the East Coast. And it's just, it's beautiful. But for me, Philadelphia is the home of Rocky. Philadelphia gave me Rocky. When I was lost, scared, afraid, it was Rocky Balboa and the streets of Philadelphia that gave me great confidence to persevere and try. And I will forever love Philadelphia. Forever.
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back. Yeah, yeah.
This is where Rocky walks Little Marie home in the original Rocky movie. Rocky 1, he comes around the corner with Little Marie, and he opens up this very gate, and he walks through with Little Marie, and he walks her home across the parking lot. I will show you where her house is. It's right over there. Now, in the movie, all those houses were there. This warehouse was here, but it was blocked because where these two cars are, there was a house. I don't know if it was where the nuns lived, if it was a school, but the building is now gone for more parking. Anyways, Rocky walks right through that gate, and it is now chained because people had tried to steal that gate because it's Rocky's gate. Crazy, crazy. So there is me and Spider Rico. That is me and Burt Young, who I would get to know. He's a lovely, lovely guy. I'll tell you a great story about him in a minute. Okay. This picture changed my life. This is taken out front of the Victor Cafe. My wife took this picture of me and Sylvester Stallone on his 60th birthday dinner at the Victor Cafe. It was amazing. If this picture does not happen, my life changes drastically. And this was all done because of my wife. Here is a picture of me and Carl Weathers. This is me as a Rocky Balboa impersonator. This is a painting I did of my favorite moment in the original Rocky. This is the 14th round where Rocky breaks Apollo's ribs. You can see on the right, it has Sylvester Stallone's signature. He remembers signing it during the filming of Rocky Balboa. After this picture is taken, Carl Weathers would sign on his legs, ain't gonna be no rematch. Carl was very kind to me here. Very, very nice. Today is my birthday, 44 years old.
Is it really today?
Yeah, you screwed up my plans. My family's supposed to take me out tonight for dinner. Now I gotta drive all the way here. Can you believe this? Carl.
I screwed up your plans.
Can I get a picture?
Come on around here, man. Come on around.
Here is a picture of Sylvester holding a copy of my book, Cue the Rocky Music. I wrote this book in a poetic attempt to thank Sylvester. I never wrote a book before in my life, but I wrote this, got it published, and this picture, the story behind this picture is amazing, and I will share that with you in just a little bit. Me and Sylvester on the set of Creed 1. This is the night I discover the hat is navy, not black. This is the picture on Sylvester Stallone's Instagram way back in April of last year. We were at the Rocky statue welcoming him back. I was with the mayor, and they asked me to come dressed as Rocky. And Stallone loved this picture, and he was so kind, he put it out there. And I cannot thank the man enough for it. He is just a good guy.
Probably the greatest Rocky impersonator in the world, Mike Kunda, who lives in Philadelphia, and he has the Yo Rocky Philly tours, which, if you're a real fan, you should check him out. He just wrote me a very heartfelt message, and I appreciate it. I really do. When people pour their hearts out like that, it's fantastic. Anyway, get ready for the next adventure.
So in the movie, Rocky is walking with little Marie diagonally across the lot. And he says, you hang around with yo-yo people, you get yo-yo friends. You hang around with good people, you get good friends. It's simple mathematics. That's little Marie's house. The red awning with the white stripe with the ladder leaning against the window. It's got new windows, new doors, and even new bricks. But that is 1124 Jackson Street. The front porch, you could see the Windex bottle is sitting right there. That is where little Marie says, screw you, creepo.
Hey, Rocky.
Yo.
Screw you, creepo.
Rocky is very hurt by this. He walks across the street, and right here on my left-hand side, this tree wasn't there at the time, but that metal pole was. Rocky moves up to the metal pole, and he goes, yeah, who are you to give advice to, creepo? And he throws an uppercut to the pole. He takes out the black ball, and he starts bouncing the ball right where I'm at on this ramp. He walks back through the parking lot, and he's going back home. But now you know Kensington is a few miles on the other side of town. This really isn't Rocky's neighborhood.
Take it back. Do, take it back.
So Stallone and I are in front of the Victor Cafe on his birthday, and we're standing there, and we're going over. He begins telling me about Rocky Balboa, how Adrian was still alive in the original script, and how he had to kill her off. And he's telling me this story for about 10 minutes. And on the other side is my wife. She's in the window watching us, and she sees things are going well. So she comes out, I introduced the two of them, and I said, she goes, Sly, she says, if I don't get a picture with you and my husband, he's going to kill me. He goes, oh, yeah, sure, come on, let's take a picture, which is that picture that I just showed you. And my wife goes back in, and as the door closes, Stallone points to her, and as Rocky, he says, yo, Adrian. I thought, oh, my God, that's incredible. And then I said a Rocky line. I was doing my best Rocky impersonation. And then he loved it. And he starts doing his best impersonation. So here we are for 10 minutes going back and forth as Rocky, to Rocky, doing Rocky. It was phenomenal.
Take it back. Take it back.
And you'll see right on the street corner here, this is where in Rocky Balboa, right here on my left, this is where Rocky tells his son it ain't about how hard you can hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's where that was filmed, right here.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
And for me, Rocky represents so much about perseverance, never giving up. And here we have the front of Adrian's.
Take it back.
They put a green awning up, and of course they put Adrian's on it. They took the Victor Cafe Music Lovers Rendezvous down, and they put up. Anyways, if we take a look in the window here, if you look straight back.
We could do better than the window.
Oh, yo! How are you? It's so good to see you.
Too. How are you?
I'm good. Would you like to go inside and check it out? Yes, sure. Come on. My friend Daya from Poland.
Oh, wow.
I know, it's come a long way.
Hook, 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 left, left, left. But Creed, he kept busting me back pretty good.
So Sylvester has the original. He has a big bar in his house. And so he has the original there. And what they did, they originally hired a local Philly artist to do a version of the Rocky painting, but they didn't like it, so they put the other one upstairs, and they put this one right here. And so it's a little bit smaller than the one that was in the movie, but it really does kind of capture that. And in Creed 2, as Rocky is walking right down the walkway, Drago is sitting right here at the table. And as Rocky turns to face Drago, the camera catches a little bit of that very painting. So it made the movie too, which is kind of nice. Now, roughly right about here was the black and white picture of Rocky and Apollo from the 10th round. And this is where Adonis is standing in the original Creed movie. And as Rocky comes upstairs from working down in the kitchen, this is where he meets Adonis for the first time. And it was kind of cool because, you know, Adonis has this inside information and Rocky has no idea how. And it's funny because when Adonis says to Rocky, some people say there was a rumor of a third fight between you and Apollo. And it's like, well, how did you hear all that?
I heard about a third fight between you and Apollo. Behind closed doors. That true?
How'd you hear about that?
There's a giant painting of the third fight in back of Adonis. Well, it's like, you know, right there. I will show you over here on the other side. This is where they filmed. They did most of the main filming here in the main dining room, but in Creed, in the original Creed, they had done this corner right here was a circular table. And this is where Adonis and Rocky signed the contracts with Graham McTavish to fight Pretty Ricky Conlan. And they took a few of these pictures down. They put up some Rocky and Adrian pictures. But one of the things they did that was really interesting is this beautiful stained glass window. They took out the center panel and they put in one that said Adrian's. Only for like 4 seconds in the film. It's hardly in the film, but yet they did it right there. This is the lengths they go to create the reality of the restaurant. Now this whole wall, all these pictures had come down. These were all boxing pictures that were up here. They never filmed that. I suppose they don't know what they're doing, what angle they're going to use. So whatever angle is going to be completely covered with boxing pictures. You know, trying to throw Rocky's feeling around the restaurant. Anyways, I'll take you upstairs and I'll show you a little bit up here, which is one of my favorite places. That's one of my favorites. I have the same one at home in a frame. I love this. That's the Italian Market where we had just driven through. And the guy who did this painting, he did the one of the Rocky statue behind you, which is kind of cool. That was done by the guy who did that one right there, the Italian Market. This is something I did a few years ago. I thought it would be nice to do the outside of the restaurant dressed as Adrian's. So I did this a few years ago. I put it up here. Kind of fits in nicely. That's Sly arriving on set for Rocky Balboa.
Take it back. Do, 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 do. Take it back.
Book is written by a friend of mine, Mike Vitez. He is a reporter who went to the Rocky Steps for 365 days. He was there for the better part of maybe 6-7 hours a day. And what he did, he interviewed people as to why they come to the Rocky Steps. So they took pictures and their stories are in this book. Not everyone runs the steps because of Rocky. They have very personal reasons why they go there. Because of Rocky, it's seen now as a form of victory, of overcoming adversity and certain odds. But as you can see, these are just people who come from at night. They come from around the world. they show Rocky on a big blow-up screen. Usually in the early spring or late summer, they will bring in a big, giant 100-foot movie screen, which is kind of fun, and you can watch Rocky. People come here before their the weddings, children. I mean, it's quite amazing. It's definitely a book I recommend. And in the beginning, Sly has a nice forward. He explains all about the Rocky steps and what they mean, why they were so important to Rocky's journey, but also Sylvester's. I've never gone to another place for dinner. I mean, I'm in Philadelphia, I don't know, 1,000 times. I'm always here. Actually, the one time I did go to dinner at another restaurant was with my friends from the restaurant. They took me and my wife to dinner. I think during the filming of Creed 1, we had gone to a nice dinner here, and it was wonderful. And it was a lot of fun. But this is where I come. If I'm in Philly, if I'm going to dinner, this is where I come.
Okay.
In Rocky Balboa, right here is where Spider Rico sat. Rocky comes walking through in the opening moments of Balboa, and Spider is here, and he goes, "How you doing, Spider?" And of course, Spider's reading his Bible and having a bowl of soup. And so Spider had fallen on hard times, and Rocky thought, okay, you know what, let me just give this guy some soup and a place to stay warm. Ain't gonna hurt nobody. And that's what they did.
Yo, how you doing, Spider?
God bless you, Rocky.
Thanks.
So Rocky goes downstairs, and of course we get the beautiful shot of the whole restaurant. In Balboa, Rocky is standing right about here, and he's explaining to people, he's telling them old fight stories. He goes, Mickey says, you gotta get in, you gotta get there, you gotta fight him. And I said, Mick, if I could, I would.
You gotta be first. You gotta be first. I said, yo, Mick, if I could,
I would.
I would.
So in Creed 2, there is a TV above the window right there, okay? We see a flat screen TV in Creed 2, and this is the TV that Rocky watches Adonis get beat up pretty bad in the first Creed fight, Baby Drago fight. Anyways, he puts the remote to the TV right here. Rocky has a white apron on because he was working the dough, and this top part was not here. This was added. Other than that, like Alexa said when we first walked in here, it basically is the same. It really has not changed all that much.
Take it back. Do, take it back.
I've never done drugs in my life, but I'm told that a drug addict is always chasing that first high that they got when they did a drug. When I first saw all these Rocky locations, it was such a rush to my heart that when I come here again, even if I'm by myself, I still get a rush. But now I know it means a lot to you. You're a Rocky fan, and you're like, whoa, Rocky was here. I walked where Rocky walked. And so it's a charge for me, you know? When Rocky runs down the middle of the street, we see that newspaper truck with the bundle of newspapers being tossed to the sidewalk. We see Rocky run into the scene. It's still dark, it's really early in the morning, and Rocky goes underneath City Hall, which is the big building in the middle of the road. He goes underneath the archway as a shortcut to the Rocky Steps.
Take it back. Do, take it back.
There's always a line for the Rocky statue. Now, you saw the people in line there, right? Okay. Now, a couple of down here, there's going to be the second set of lights down here on the right-hand side. There is a large monument to Abraham Lincoln. Do you know who that is? Okay. Right. He's probably one of the most beloved presidents. Ended the Civil War, ended slavery. He even took a bullet to the head for this country. There's Abraham Lincoln, and there ain't nobody in line. There you go. He's real, all right? And then Rocky is not even real, but that just tells you the power of pop culture and how it has influenced.
take it back. Do 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 do, take it back. Yeah, yeah.
I graduate barely with like a D+, and I go from lousy job to lousy job. Horrible. Now I'm 21 years old. I'm working in an auto parts warehouse, and I'm with a friend of mine in his car. And we're having lunch at Burger King's parking lot. And I see this group of girls in a car drive right around and pull up on the driver's side where my buddy is sitting. Now, I had grown my hair long for Rambo because Rocky wasn't helping me get girls, and I wanted a girl bad. So bad I wanted to go on a date. So, thought maybe long hair would help. Well, this girl driving the car was gorgeous. She was 18 years old, big blue eyes, big hair, and she was my friend's first cousin. And when he introduced us, I leaned forward and she leaned back, and when we saw each other, it was like Cupid was on a cloud, had pulled back his bow and slammed an arrow through the back of my head, through the front. And so, you know, it's one of those things where we've been together nearly 30 years. So a lot of people always ask, does she understand my passion? How is she? Because my whole life revolves around Rocky.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win.
I never saw Rocky on the big screen. And that was my bucket list. So a few years ago, about 5 years ago, she rents out a movie theater. And all you had to do is give them a Blu-ray of Rocky, and they can put it in the projector or hook it up to the projector and put it up on the big screen. So my wife, she buys the theater for 100 people. Now, I don't have a lot of friends, and I only have about 25 or 30 family members. So I said, what do I do? I have like 65 seats that are open. What do I do? And she said, why don't you go on social media and just put it out there? If anybody is close or they want to come to this thing, it's free. I said, okay. So I put it out there, and then all of a sudden, other people who wanted to see the movie that had never seen it in real life, or on the big screen, they ended up showing up to the movie. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. So she was not only fulfilling my dream of seeing Rocky on the big screen, but she was fulfilling many other people. And at the end, we had like a receiving line. And so we were shaking hands and thanking people for coming. And they went up to my wife and they were like, oh my God, thank you so much for what you did. You just gave me my bucket list dream of seeing Rocky on the big screen. So my wife she's one of those rare individuals that has the brain to go to the next level for a gift. She's very good like that. And let's face it, I watch Rocky all the time on TV. So if I know she's not going to be home, or if she's working late, Rocky's on. And when she comes home, she'll open the door, and usually the training montage is on, or the big fight, and she just goes, again? I go, yeah. I said, if you want to take a slow shower, go ahead. I said, I got about 8 minutes left. And she just chuckles and, you know, lets me finish watching it. You know, the Rocky steps, they mean many things to many people. For me, I fell in love with the Rocky steps when I first saw Rocky running up the steps. I thought, my God, he's already run 5 miles through the city. How's he going to make it up these steps? Well, he must be in good shape. But really, what those steps represent, monolithic figure of the art museum represents, is the pinnacle of success, the top of the, I think, educational ladder of life, because there's almost an institutional feel to it. There's a feel of almost royalty, and especially with those large Roman columns, it is almost like overbearing, and it sets the rules. So as Rocky, who came from the streets, he came from nothing. We saw earlier 1818, where Rocky lived in that little brick building. Here he is running the steps and conquering the steps, raising his arm in victory. Rocky has conquered all of his fears, not only his physical fears, but his educational fears. He knows he's not the smartest person in the world, but in a way, metaphorically speaking, Rocky has beaten the institution. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I really thought that was an interesting take on it. Now the steps, I've gone to these steps maybe 15,000 times. And I can tell you, one of the most beautiful things are seeing all walks of life, all type of diverse backgrounds running those steps.
What you're looking at right now is the designs for the new art museum. Take a close look at those designs. The Rocky Steps have changed. One of the iconic spots in the city of Philadelphia is going to be deconstructed and changed into something else. And that's the reason you're here, because you've started a petition online and it's gained some steam. Talk about your first feelings, your feelings when you heard or saw the designs and heard those steps were going away.
Just a friend of mine from Twitter sent it to me. I thought it was an internet hoax. I didn't, you see these things all the time, and I started reading the article, and I thought, oh my God, this is real. They want to change the Rocky Steps. The first thing I said to them, I said, well, what do they want to do next? Change the Liberty Bell? I mean, fix it? Fix the Liberty Bell. I mean, really, do we need to do this? It was something that was so offensive to me. I said, we got to do something. Here's how you can tell the difference between someone who is from Philadelphia versus a tourist. People from Philadelphia run up the Rocky Steps, turn around, and run back down. Tourists run up the Rocky Steps and throw their arms in the air and dance and jump around like Rocky. That's the difference. And the great thing is, if you're close enough, just walk in and out of the crowd. They have the earbuds on, and you can hear them playing the Rocky music in their ears. And it's the coolest thing, because everyone at some point is thinking Rocky, but then they go into their own thoughts, and they think about what brought them to the Rocky Steps. Maybe someone just got a promotion, or maybe someone lost their job and they're looking for inspiration. Maybe someone just got cancer or beat cancer. Maybe they got married or divorced. Whatever it is, it's a very personal reason as to why people run those steps. All of the tourists ask me, what is that building? Oh, it's the Philadelphia Museum of Art, better known as the Rocky Steps. And there's some people in Philadelphia that they don't like that. They're a little highbrow. They feel that there's more to Philadelphia than just the Rocky Steps. And they're right. There's a hell of a lot more to Philadelphia. My God, it's the signing of the Declaration of Independence, the Liberty Bell proclaiming liberty throughout the land. There is the idea that if you work hard enough, you can achieve some type of happiness, or at least the pursuit of happiness. Philadelphia was the capital of America. It was where America was formed. This is where it was the cradle of America, really. And in Old City, you have the very sidewalks, the brick streets where Thomas Jefferson, Ben Franklin, George Washington, Adams all walked. These are the men who really built the country and their ideas that has shaped the world, really, for democracy and freedom.
Take it back. Do, take it back. Yeah.
If you can find your passion, if you can find work doing your passion and get paid for it, then you don't work a day in your life because you are so happy. Like for me, when I was a kid, I didn't have a lot of friends. And girls never would want to go on a date with me because I was weird. And I understood that. But I was still pretty lonely. And today, I've made friends from all over the world because of the internet, social media, and because people love this simple, broken down fighter, Rocky Balboa. He's literally inspired this planet. And, you know, it's something that I think at this point is part of my DNA. It's part of who I am. And I'm very grateful to Sylvester. Very, very, very grateful. It's funny, you know, growing up, I was about 13. My grandfather, who was an old coal miner, he calls me and he heard about a fight that I had gotten into. Didn't go real well for me. So he calls me up to his house and he says, Mikey, he goes, I know you like your superheroes. I know you like the Lone Ranger. He goes, I have something for you that may help. He goes, I know you like this new character, Rocky. He goes, this may help you in some way. He gives me his old fedora and leather jacket that looked just like Rocky's. I put it on and I look in the mirror and I said, oh my God, Grandpa, I'm Rocky. The people who aren't Rocky fans, they never understood Rocky. They don't get it. They make fun of me. They make fun of Rocky fans. They make fun of the city for having a statue of a guy who's not even real. Well, there's a lot of real people standing in line to see a fake guy, I can tell you that. So what does that say? That says the power that Rocky has. You don't have to be the best in the world, but you can be the best in your own world if you just try. And that's what Rocky is. It's a symbol of trying. It's what we could be. Maybe we're never going to win. Maybe we're never going to be at the top, but we can keep trying. Because I believe once you give up that hope, if you stop trying, what else is there? What else? Follow your dreams, follow your passions. If you have something that is so deep that you love, don't give up. Just keep moving forward to it.